Today's word is chef for Inktober 2020. And it took me a long time to think of what to do because I didn't just want to draw a chef. I always want to add something to it, make it interesting. And so then I thought, well, I'll make an animal that likes to eat a lot. And of course, we always think of pigs. Turns out, the animal we should actually be thinking of instead of pigs is a pygmy shrew. I looked up the world's most hungry animals, and this guy is the number one most hungry animal. He eats many times his body weight every day. Can't remember what the number was, but these guys eat a lot. So, drawing a pygmy shrew as a chef. As is with any drawing, it's always hard because you want to do, if you're going to do a chef, you try to find things that are cliche chef things, like always the toque hat, always like the chef attire, kind of high-collared white jacket. But then again, you want to do something new and different, which is kind of the opposite of cliche. So that's always the kind of struggle with a drawing like this. And you end up with something that's not necessarily the most original thing in the whole world, but I don't know. I don't think I've seen anyone draw a shrew yet for Inktober. Pygmy shrew. I'll give him like a little French mustache. One thing I thought of was making the hat, like the toque hat, into like its own character. But it was just going to be too simple. Like there wasn't a lot I could do. Then I thought, well, I can give him a body and stuff, but the problem with that was I wanted to make the bottom of the hat his mouth. And there's nowhere to put hands or anything. And the idea just wasn't coming together. This is actually kind of turning out to be a small drawing, but that's okay because I'm already running out of time today. I don't know where the time goes most of these days. Again, I apologize for the silence. Like I would love to be listening to music right now, but every time I do that, I get the bots find out what I'm listening to and they demonetize the video, which probably shouldn't worry about too much with these Inktober drawings because it's not like I'm getting a ton of views anyway. Yesterday I listened to Max Richter's Sleep album and it picked up pretty quick on that. Today I've been listening to this interesting track that's kind of actually hard to listen to, and it's maybe not fun, but it's almost like a challenge to try to listen to it. It's called The Caretaker. That's the artist name, and the album is called Everywhere at the End of Time. It's 6 hours long. And it's sort of an art project that he made. He teamed up with actually a painter to do like the kind of images to go with it. And I think the overall project is to try to make the listener know what it feels like to have dementia or start slipping into dementia in different stages, and it's actually pretty terrifying to think of, like losing your memory and like trying to remember things, and then slowly things start to get to where you can't remember anything, and you're trying to, like, you think you can recognize songs, but it's only sort of like pieces and bits of songs. It's really weird, and it's like I always like kind of different things like that. There's something to it. It's not just someone trying to be artsy fartsy, but like there's a reason for it. It kind of explores kind of things in the brain, which lately is really interesting to me because my wife and I have been watching the show Brain Games, and it kind of brings up a lot of interesting kind of things that can happen, and like illusions and things that happens with your brain. But this thing I'm listening to, it's like I actually came across it because I clicked on a video by this guy called Solar Winds. And he did a video about this. I guess it was kind of a viral meme a while back, and it's a photo that's you're trying to recognize. Like the challenge is to pick one thing in the photo that you can name. And on first glance, you think, "Oh, that's easy. It's like a room full of junk. Like, let me see this thing. Let me look at it closer." And then when you start really looking at this photo, it's so weird. All of a sudden, you realize you can't really recognize anything in there. And it's like I think somebody said thing was generated by AI, which basically kind of took lots of different photos and stuff, and like maybe some rules about light and space and 3D space, and then it put this image together. And it's weird because there's like bits of fur in it, and looks like you see like a necklace board, and it looks just like a junky room from far away, and you think, "Oh yeah, I got this." It's just fascinating that you're trying to grasp what you see and you can't. And particularly for me, this is a really interesting thing because I had never seen a picture represent this kind of mental state that I experienced a couple of times, and it usually has come to me in times of having a concussion. I guess kind of crazy I am, accident prone, and I've had a few concussions, and like one was after a car wreck when I got rear-ended on the interstate. But the other one happened after I broke my neck. It's actually that same year, later that year. I fell out of a tree. I was climbing a tree and I fell out and broke my neck. And I think I got a bit of a concussion that time too. And this time it so happened that I was having this whatever you want to call it, happening to me while I was in the doctor's office. And so I asked a nurse, like, I was like, "What is going on?" Like, so I tried to describe it to her, and she called it dwarfing, which is weird. I'm pretty sure that's what I remember her saying it was, but I've tried looking that up, and you kind of find what you would expect to find stuff about dwarfs. That's not what I'm looking for at all. So I can't remember what she said. Anyway, so what happens is in my brain, I just start to like think of things, and it's like a thought starts to formulate, but it's like you feel it coming on pretty strong, like I'm about to grasp this thought. And then the more you try to concentrate on it, it's like when you try to look at a star in this starry night sky, and the more you try to concentrate on it, the less you can see it. And that's the way thoughts are to me in this situation. And like it's like, yeah, this thought's coming, and then I can't quite grasp it. Like it doesn't make any sense. And then it goes away, it dissolves, and then another one comes after that. It's like, well, surely this next one is going to be a thought. It's going to be something for me to grasp a hold of and then talk about or something. And then sure enough, that one passes by too, and it just keeps doing this. And it seems like it did it for a couple hours or something. And it's just, it's like a weird state to be in. It's not fun. Like you want to get out of it because you feel out of control. But anyway, so I found this picture yesterday, and it's like weird. It's very visually represents kind of that state of mind that I felt like I was in. Then, like, since I've been hearing a lot about pareidolia lately, like seeing it in videos, and I think they talked about it a bit on Brain Games too, I started to realize maybe like that's what it is it's like this room full of stuff, and and your brain just wants to make something out of it. And so it kind of tells you, oh, there's that and this and that. But when you really look at it, none of that's there. So I think it's kind of parallel. Hope you don't mind me blabbering about stuff that has nothing to do with the drawing at hand. It's actually one of the things I used to love about an art teacher I had in college, Charles Hardy. If anybody's local, they'll remember him. He's a great teacher. But the cool thing is he would get us all drawing on something, whether it was like live models or whatever the project was. We did a lot of like kind of free warm up type stuff. And he would just start talking about stuff, and it usually had something to do with the art that we were doing. But he was always so interesting. The guy was full of just really interesting facts and knowledge about stuff, and more than just knowing a lot, like the way he combined stuff, and like I said, like it kind of had to do with what we were drawing and stuff. I wish I could remember more about the stuff he talked about. It's been a very long time, like about 18 years ago. It's another freaky thing about time. Like I'm listening to this thing about like how it is to have dementia, and all of us younger people think, oh yeah, that's old people get that, and like so we don't worry about it because to us the future and old age and stuff is so far away. It's almost like not even real to us. But like the older I get, obviously the closer it is. And now that I'm in my 40s, like stuff like this seems a lot closer, and it seems like it's coming faster too. Like that's what I've noticed in life. Like every day that passes by, every year, like time speeds up, and it makes sense because time, when you're a baby, if you're 2 days old, 1 day is half your life, and then when you're 80 years old, 40 years is half your life, and so years are a lot smaller in proportion. That's why time always seems to speed up on us. But yeah, so listening to this video about Alzheimer's and just thinking like, it's gonna feel like a blink of an eye by the time you're that age, and hope like not everybody gets it, so you don't have to fear it that much. But like if you do, it sounds pretty terrifying to have. Just knowing just how short our lives are and just how precious moments are, and like think too, like so much of what we are and who we are and how we identify is based on our memories. And to think if you somehow lost your memories, how you would be kind of losing yourself. I mean, you'd be totally like losing everything you know and know yourself to be. So that's terrifying too. Sorry, this is actually so very hard to see. Like I look up there at the live stream and I see that the light's really blowing it out a lot. It's one thing I'd love to have is a better camera set up. And sound too. And like I haven't gone back and listened to a lot of these videos, but when I do, sound is pretty bad too. I wish I had more time, because then I would go back and edit these videos and make them more watchable. One of my biggest things that I can't stand about Inktober is just having to always be in a rush. So many of these drawings I'd love to just put way more time into. It's like by the time I think of an idea and get going on it, it's already my time is much up. I wonder what my shrew is making. Kind of sizzling over a gas stove here. Tell me if you've ever heard of a pygmy shrew before. Like I may have. I don't remember ever hearing about it. Now I know they eat more than any other animal. So gross. One of the other animals on the list, well, one is one you'd expect, the blue whale, because he's huge, but it's all obviously by percentage and body weight. But another animal, it's actually an insect, I think. It's called a, what are they called? Now I forgot what they're called, but they're a giant cricket, like that big. It's so gross. They eat like twice their body weight every day or something. Okay. Good quick one today, actually. There's my little chef, pygmy shrew.